Okay, Rabbi Yisrael Shalom Aleichem. Okay, again, it's early morning, so we want to do what the Rebbe asked us to do in the 3 weeks. We want to learn in the 9 days. We want to learn in Yonim that are connected to the Beis Hamikdosh, and because it's early morning, we also want to connect it to Chassidus. So we're going to take a statement that it speaks about the Beis Hamikdosh, and see how we could apply it to service in Avodas Hashem. So there is a statement that the Tzemach Tzedek, and actually I think there's a Reshima from the Rebbe, that the Rebbe also speaks about it. Chazal tell us a statement like this: Kol ha'sha'arim shebeheichol, all the sha'arim, all the entrances that there were in the Heichol. Rabbi Grossman, you want to point that out? I'm not. All the entrances of the Heichol, hoyu lahem dlosses, those are had doors that would close, even though the entrances were big open areas. They were able to close. They had doors. Here's here. So the archways had doors to shut. Chutz mishel ulam, the entrance that you went into the ulam. That one had an arch, but that one didn't have a door to shut. That was always open. You want to pull? I'm not.
The ulam is what was the.
It says over there. You see the? Oh, yeah, you see. I couldn't. It says over there ulam. You see what it says ha'ulam? I couldn't.
Yeah, it says clearly.
Yeah, but where are all the?
So all the gates are.
I don't see.
You can see there's.
These are on the side.
There's two on the Myra side, and there's
Neil, you see,
there's
four
four
on each other side.
You have 4 on the 2 sides, and 2 on the up
And 2 on the Myra side.
And the Myra side, and then there's one here, there's one here, there's one here.
See, I don't want to get caught. The bottom line is, I don't want to get caught because I'm not the technical person. But the Rambam says there were many entrances, many sha'arim going in. Many ways how to get into the Harabayas, many ways to get in. I don't know what he was referring to, but the bottom line, and you'll soon see a statement, a very interesting statement that Tzemach Tzedek finishes off. So let's take for what he just said.
What's the word ulam mean?
Ulam means the main. Here is the ulam. You see the ulam?
He's referencing the
Kodesh.
To the introduction to the Kodesh, to a hall in front of the Kodesh.
Right.
That's what he's calling the ulam. Here, it's
Yeah,
very in front of the Kodesh.
Right.
And the Kodesh is in here, and the Kodesh Kedoshim is further.
That's ulam.
Yeah.
Here.
Okay, so every other place, the entrance was just you were able to close. It was an entrance that had doors to. When time was up, it closed the door. At the end of the day, it got closed. The ulam was always open. Didn't have any doors. What is the significance from that? That's the question that Tzemach Tzedek is going to discuss. What is it? How does it apply to us? Okay, so this is a mimer that the Tzemach Tzedek discusses in Shiur HaShirim, and he bases this on a statement that Chazal say, a very famous statement that Chazal discuss. Hashem turns to the Yidden and says, "Pischi li kichuda shel machat." You know, I want to come to you. I want to help you. All I ask of you is give me an opening like the eye of a needle. Do something on your behalf. Budge like the eye of a needle, and if you open up, give me an opening for an eye of a needle. Va'ani eftach lachem, va'ani eftach lecha kepischa shel ulam. I will make that opening like the opening of a ballroom. That's what. But Hashem says, I want you to do the first move. You make the first move. The first move is Pischoi Shel Machat. So that, based on that conversation, the Tzemach Tzedek is going to discuss what's the significance of the doors, the openings in the Beis Hamikdosh, having a closed time, not having a closed time. So we're in the top line in the Tzemach Tzedek.
Opportunity knocks, but you have to open the door.
I see. The Inyan on the top line on page Ayin Reish Beis. Va'inyan. Kihine kol ha'sha'arim shebeheichol, all entrances in the Heichol, you see what I'm reading? Hoyu lehem delases, had doors to shut, chutz mishal ulam, besides for the one that was an entrance in the ulam. Ubir adavar. To understand this, to explain this is like this. What was even the purpose? What was why did Hashem want us to build the edifice of the Beis Hamikdosh? And what was the purpose of the entrances of the Beis Hamikdosh? Ki hasharim shebe Beis Hamikdosh, the entrances, the gateways of the Beis Hamikdosh, hayu sharei hashba. Those are entrances. Those are gateways that from the Beis Hamikdosh, all the hashba. How do you say hashba? All the revelations, all the energy that Hashem wants to give us from Him to us, all the energy, all the chayas, the life that He's giving us to sustain us comes through the Beis Hamikdash. So that's the channel, that's the kalim, the vessels that it comes through. So the pipes, the pipelines, the sharei hashba. Shamisham Yotza Hashpa L'Chol Ha'olam. From there, from the Beis Hamikdash. So you open the pipeline. So this is the gates. The floodgates are open. I shouldn't say floodgates, right? The gates are open. Sometimes it has to be channeled, right? So Shamisham Yotza Hashpa L'Chol Ha'olam. V'Chol Hasharim. So most of the gates of the Beis Hamikdash Hoyulahem Delases had doors. What's the significance of the doors? Excuse me. Not always the world deserves to get. It depends. It's tit for tat. You behave. You get what you deserve. Chol hasha'arim, all the doors, all the entrances, all the hashbois. You have a Rabbi fellow one. You have extra one. Hoyulahem Delases.
I've here another
Right. Hoyulahem Delases. Had doors. Shahadlasais, the purpose of the doors, who lisgar haPesach, to shut the door. Sheyesh itin lam shachas hashpa. Sometimes there's times that the hashpa, the revelations, the goodies, comes. Vazai heim suchis, and that's when the doors is open. The itin, and sometimes skuris, for whatever reasons, the doors are shut. What does it depend on? It depends on us. Ki hashba shelamayla, because if Hashem gives what He wants to give us, beisarusa delatata talia. It all depends on our awakening. Like I mentioned before, Hashem says, guys, you do the first move. You budge a little. You give me the eye of a needle. So the isarusa delatata means you make the first move. You give me a reason why to want to do it. So if you make the isarusa delatata, I will open the floodgates. Afilu ma'isat hashba shelamayla. The giving from above depends in the isarusa delatata. Afilu ma'isat hachtoinim kishehem zoichin aza'az yepsuchish. That's when the Hashem opens the doors. Okay, so that's why it's the gates are sometimes open, sometimes closed. So what's the significance of one door always being open? Achine noida, yet it's known that there is some good that can't be shut. Sheyesh isarusa dela'ela. There is a level of good. There is a level of Hashem wanting to give. The talia, am I skipping? The talia b'sarusa delatata. There is a level of good that depends on how we behave. The yesh sarusa delayla, delay talia b'sarusa delatata klal. And then there is a level of Hashem wanting to give, no matter how we behave. He's just willing to give, no matter who we are. You'll take that one, Penny says. We have anybody voting for this one? Lefi. And that's the doors always open. That's the door of the ulam always willing to give. Lefi. She isarusa de le'ela zu zeh hu le'ela. This willing of Hashem willing to give is so high, comes from such a high level. Makaim from such a high level, she'ein isarusa delatata toifes vakam klau. Our little actions don't make a difference. We can't make a difference. Hashem should want to give. Not who are we, little cockroaches? I know Rabbi Zalman doesn't like when I talk that way. Who are we? Well, yeah, you should want to give, not want to give. Hashem is Hashem, and Hashem gives for whatever we do. V'lazeh ramaz. This is what Chazal mean when Chazal say Pischei shel ulam, the openings of the ulam. Never had doors to shut. It doesn't depend who we are. Hashem gives. Rak, he is saruso de la'ela levada. It's Hashem awake, Hashem willing to give on his own, umemela, and automatic.
So what's Pischei shel
In this case, there is no. You're right. By the end he'll finish off the will be, because he'll say even to get there you have to go to the Heichel. There was an outside door that was shut. He's going to finish that off. He's going to say to get there was a door to go. There was a door to get there. It's not completely. However, Mikol Mokoim, nevertheless, even this level, where Hashem from on his own is giving. There's a term in Chassidus that Hashem is Teva HaTov. He's the nature. He's the good himself, and the nature of good is to give. He can't. A good giving person is just willing to give, and you can't stop. Right? You can't be good for yourself. You have to be good to somebody else. So Hashem Einay Shira yet Einay Shira Umisgala Lamata Tamid. Nevertheless, it doesn't always want to dwell and reveal this always. Im hayais, even though ki mitzad atzma eimeneya, even though on its own it has no block, because as I said, it's willing and it wants to always constantly give. Hainu, because no contractions, no limitations. It's just a blast of good. But nevertheless, nevertheless, that it should come down to such a low place. Where a low place? Shehu tachas zmanu mokim shenishpoim migeder hishtalshalus. That this high level of hashbah from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that this should, even though it's willing, Hashem is willing. He's definitely able, incapable. He's willing, and it's coming. But that it should dwell into the lowest of low, into this low world. We are, after all, we are the roadblock. So I understand that we are not. There's two parts, says the Tzemach Tzedek. There is the motivation to kickstart the desire, Kavayachol, that Hashem should be willing to do it. So that we don't need. This is a level that it flows by itself. It does not need Aris Arisa Dilatata. This is a level of toiv that comes automatic. But then, once it's coming, we're standing there throwing stones at it. For that we shouldn't chas v'sholom be blocking that. That we should allow it to come down here and not be mailim umastir, not to be blocking this chas v'sholom. Ve'enei sheirim is gala, because this high level of revelation to come down here could only come elakishiyesh shleimus b'maisa tachtoinim. Only when the people here in this world fulfill things in the proper way. V'nishba aleihem kfar isarusta d'le'ela shelafi isarusta l'tata. There has to be some kind of keli. We have to be suitable to receive this type of level. So obviously, we don't have to kickstart that will or desire. but we have to be some kind of level to accept this.
Receptive.
Yeah. Okay. Those Rabbi Fellow told you I don't know those words. Azai sheira umisgala gamkein ha'isarus de la'ela shalamayla mayla may erach esarus latata she'ain bekoyach esarus de latata la'era esarus la'ela zu. He's saying if you only allow yourself, I have a favorite story. I'm just going to use this as an example. I have a favorite story I always say around Rosh Hashanah time, even though I don't think it's a real Hasidic story, but I just think it's a good story. The story is, I'll make it bekitzer. Every time it comes Rosh Hashanah, we always think about Hachtaras HaMelech, that little mini me, we're going to daven and we'll say, oh Hashem, we're appointing you as our king. Hashem needs middle me to appoint him, Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So many Sfarim talk about it. Hashem, Melech Malchei Amlachim needs me to appoint him. So there's a mashal, there's a parable of the Tsar of Russia that once decided that he's going to make a tour of all his kingdom. So he let out to all his people, I'm coming. Of course. So Moscow was prepared as much as they could. Moscow is, they even showed off to Trump, right? They had a lot to show off. They had a lot to show off. They have all the technology, all the bridges. So everything was as scared as they were from the Tsar, but they had what to show off. The further and further he went from civilization, the less the people over there they were afraid. It came to a small hick town, Hinterslutsk somewhere. There was a small shtetl. You know the story? There was a small shtetl that had a very weird custom. They didn't like to mingle with people, and their custom was, because anybody a bypasser, they didn't like people, so they always, if anybody ever traveled by, they didn't want anybody to stop by. So their custom was, if a traveler came by, they would greet him with a very strange Shalom Aleichem. Anybody traveled by, they would throw stones at him. And here comes the Tsar himself, and the mayor says, "Oh my God, if the Tsar shows up and my customers over here are going to throw stones at him, we're going to be in trouble." So the Tsar calls an emergency meeting with the people of the town, and says, "Listen, I'm not worried about the Tsar, because we have what to show off. We are mamish like the people of Moscow. We could show him how we milk the cows left-handed, and we could show him how we have the biggest alligators. I don't know what we could show him. But one thing I ask of you, Varfnish Kensteiner, all I ask you is don't throw stones at him. That's it I'm asking you." And this is what that Rebbe said to his Chassidim, Lahavdil, Hashem wants to be a king. I don't understand how, who, what, when. All I ask of you, don't throw stones at him. This is what the Tzemach Tzedek is saying. Hashem wants to do this Sarusa de Latata. We don't know what we're doing. Is Sarusa de Latata. You don't know how to kickstart that. We have some kind of channel that Hashem says is happening anyways. The floodgates of good is happening. Just don't put the roadblock. Don't put that road. Varfnish Kensteiner. Rabbi Zalman, if you're going to use this mushal, if you're going to use the mushal, by the way, you're going to have to say my name.
So you're saying that what you're saying, the way we symbolize that is by Pischui Chudash Yomar. Is that what you're saying?
But he didn't say yet. He says don't just.
Well, that's what you're saying.
What do you mean by Pischui?
That even though we don't need the people,
you don't need a Sarus Tata.
The way we show that we want it, we have to show you want it. That's the question that the Rabbi Gosam brought up.
Where is the? He's saying you don't even need Pischui Shemachar.
Why do you need it? Say Pischui Shemachar, and then I'll open it up.
Right.
No, I think what he's
First
saying.
you're going to do this. First you got to be Pischui Shemachar. Then
But if the question, you're not even answering your question. If it's Pischui Shemachar, then that's the Sarus Tata. That's his asking.
I think what he's saying here is right now is something a little bit different. He's saying right now is that the Hashpara Mamayla from the Sarus Leila is coming.
Happening.
It just happens automatically because it's from such a level that the Sarus
Doesn't make a difference.
It doesn't connect with it at all. There's no interface at all with that. Nonetheless, the Hashpah is coming, but we have to make ourselves as you were saying, a keli, a recipient for this. How do we make ourselves a recipient for us? By entering into the deal of the lower level, where there is a difference between the Sus L'Sata and the Sus L'Ela. When we go and have the initiation of the relationship, and then there's Sus L'Ela responding to it, once we become citizens of Hashem's world, so as citizens, then we get the automatic hashpah from the.
So why is this not Isarusa Delotata?
Because
that's a bigger avodah?
No, your avodah is not initiating that hashpah. Your avodah is not making a hashpah.
Or Isarusa Delotata is a shvered
All you would be
avodah.
able to show citizen papers.
Okay.
So it's a citizen paper. How you get citizen paper? By going through the Sus L'Ela activity.
By doing
Yeah, but that only brings about
then you get you're inside. Once you're inside, then
Rabbi Zalman, but why is now Pesachuli Kechodesh Hamachat Isarusa Delotata? Why is that less?
well, he's saying
It is a
you
Sus, but that's in a different
don't
space.
become a member of the gang.
You have to become a member.
And that's
Once you're a
not.
member, you're getting
That-
automatic.
the building.
I understand. You're saying
But
that's
isn't that
until
showing
now
up
you thought that's Isarusa Delotata. Until you learned this, you thought that's
So we're saying
Isarusa.
there's
We're
two.
not making that but we're initiating ourselves to get into it, to get into the room.
There's two issues.
We're all saying the same
No,
thing,
no, no.
but until you learned this mimer, Pesachuli Kechodesh Hamachat was Isarusa Delotata.
Correct.
Two are open up.
Yeah.
And now you're saying-
We're saying that there are
He says there's
two.
two Isserus Delayla.
Two Isserus Delayla.
There's Talia Isserus.
One Isserus Delayla
It should look Talia
is a response to your initiation. You come in, the neighbor says, okay, here are your citizen papers. Once you have citizen papers, then there's another Isserus Delayla that simply doesn't depend on what you're doing. It has nothing to do with Pesach Shmata. The Pesach Shmata is simply how to deserve a citizen paper.
Right.
That's all. Once you got citizen papers, the hashpah comes from the other Isserus Delayla automatically.
Okay, now you're saying something else. Now you're saying that once you get your citizen papers, you're going to get so many benefits that you never even thought about. Is that what you're saying? That the hashpah is a higher hashpah?
Those benefits are coming automatically. What you have to do is get in the room, as Rabbi Zango said. You have to bring yourself on the other side of the gate.
Okay, let's learn the last line. You'll see an interesting thing. V'lachein pischoi shel ulam hagam sheloi hoyu loy dasois, like mentioned, loy hoyu yechayilum likanisham ki im derech sharei hahechol shehoyu lepanim skules. There was an outside door that sometimes was closed.
That's what it says.
Which
That's
is the
exactly what it's saying.
citizenship.
That you have to get in the door.
Yeah.
Once you're in the door, that Pesach Shalom is open. But you got to get in the door.
So you're saying this is what Moshe Cohen says of like the wall around Mexico? Is it Moshe Cohen?
Yesterday you said, once you go to college. Every room, yesterday you said, once you go to college, and today you say you have to be a citizen.
No, is that, yeah? Nah.
No,
What's the chiddush of this point here? I mean,
this point very interesting. Very, very, very
no, do you have to make the first move?
No.
You don't have to make your first move?
Yes and no.
First move,
Both.
you're not going to get anywhere.
Yes and no. In other
show up.
words, you have to become and collect citizen papers. You have to come and
Is
collect
that
citizen
that the first
That's
move?
your move, first move. You have to make that.
You sound just like Trump.
Yes and no. Yes.
All roads lead to Trump.
Yesterday he didn't say too much, so.
Not yesterday.
No.
You have to first walk in the door, and that there's a door. And for that there is a for the shemachas.
The bottom line is,
You're
yes,
showing
The
it's
door
not-
you have to go
That's
through
never-
is the door that closes. You're not allowed to go to the other door. But you should know that the other door exists. You should
So
know
the
that
doors
it's not-
continue.
It looks like the chiddush of the mimer is not so much that you don't have to do anything, is that if you do, you're going to reach something that's a flood.
But showing up
That-
is also
that-
doing.
You're gonna open up the
But Rabbi Grossman, showing up is also doing, no?
Right, so
That's what he said,
you're
sure,
gonna do
yes.
it,
But that is a
You will do.
susa.
Right.
And you have to
It's
go
a
through
susa.
the doors that open and close. You can't go through the door that's always open because that's
Okay,
not your
but it is
business.
a susa top by showing up.
Correct, but that didn't bring about that. So that is continually going.
Right, okay.
All you gotta
The other door
do
was
is
there.
get within range. So you didn't initiate that Suslayla. That Suslayla is on an ongoing basis. You have to move yourself within range.
Right.
All right, Navgei Davenim.